Hello and welcome to FinTech Focus TV. We're here at TradingTech Summit New York 2026, where leaders from across capital markets have come together to discuss the technology shaping the future of trading. From AI and automation to market infrastructure, cloud, data, and governance, the industry is facing rapid change. Throughout the day, we spoke with some of the event's leading speakers and delegates and asked them 3 simple questions about the future of trading technology, the challenges firms may be overlooking, and the skills that will matter most in the years ahead. Let's hear what they had to say. Joining us next at TradingTech Summit is Dan Davis from Connamara Technologies. Dan, thanks so much for joining.
Yeah, great to be here.
Yeah, great to have you on. So I guess first things first, tell me a little bit about Connamara.
Yeah, so we provide marketplace technology, which is namely the matching or exchange technology, the clearing technology, and the market surveillance technology. We like to think of ourselves as a one-stop shop for anybody that's looking to create a new venue or bring a new asset to market, or maybe do just something else a little bit different when it comes to actually trading a new asset class.
Yeah.
We're doing a lot within prediction markets, a lot within power markets, a lot within perpetual futures and crypto and tokenizing stocks. So we're really passionate about opening up new markets to new investors and bringing new products to market.
Amazing. So prediction markets, that must be...
It's been a great tailwind for our business, obviously, but we've been early to it. We started with a customer called FXswapX in 2022. Really, as everyone knows, the presidential election that year was just a huge introduction for prediction markets, and we supported FXswapX as the largest derivatives exchange in the world for about 3 days running in that period. It was a $2 billion market that got stood up in about 6 weeks. And now we're seeing new assets come to market that are seeing maybe even more volume, like perpetual futures.
So you guys were pretty early into the prediction markets game then?
We were, yeah, and we've really built this platform around customers like FXswapX that want to fully integrate this stack. Really what we see as this end-to-end technology where you're not only doing the exchange or providing the venue, but you are clearing it as well and running the market surveillance with one vendor. We really look to bring these markets to life in a fraction of the time and at a fraction of the cost as building it yourself or working with some of the incumbent providers.
So I guess as far as the clients go, it seems like it's really across the markets.
We're in 5 regulated jurisdictions around the world. So sovereign bonds, IPOing stocks, perpetual futures, prediction markets, crypto. So it's really across the board, but that's really our mandate as our part of our flagship product, EP3, is to give you that flexibility so that you don't need to worry about the plumbing. You can worry about the exciting stuff, the things that differentiate you as a marketplace where you can inject your IP or build on top of EP3, and it's very easy to do so. And you can really put your calories and your resources and your effort to, I would arguably say, worry about, work on the fun things, the revenue generating parts of your business, as opposed to sort of recreating the wheel for, a proven technology that's already providing the plumbing to 15 different venues all over the world.
Got you. So they really focus on the more so exciting areas, let's say.
We think the plumbing's pretty exciting, but at the same time, we realize that not everyone does, and we really are trying to enable those exchange operators that have big ideas. The ideas, I talk to people every day that want to create a new asset class or do it in a little bit differently than somebody else, and giving them a clear path to actually launching, monetizing their exchange, and it was really a big piece of being that vendor for them.
Joining us next at TradingTech Summit is Alexander Kilian from Vermiculus Financial Technology. Alexander, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So I guess first things first, talk to me a little bit about Vermiculus and what you guys do.
Yes, Vermiculus is a software company located in Stockholm, Sweden. We build exchange and clearing system and CSD systems for the largest exchange and clearing houses in CSD in the world.
Amazing.
We're working globally, so right now most of our customers are not even in Europe, so everywhere in the world.
Wow, so it's quite a reach.
Yes.
Amazing.
like it.
Joining us next at TradingTech Summit New York is Krishna and Nadella from ITRS. Krishna, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, tell me a little bit about ITRS.
So ITRS, which stands for International Trading Room Systems, is a 30-year fintech that focuses on real-time observability and monitoring for all of capital markets, ranging from payments to market data to electronic trading. Our focus is now taking that infrastructure, which is both on-prem or in the cloud, and applying an agentic roadmap, which we're now in the process of doing so with our customers, with agents that focus on SRE agents, that reliability engineering agents, looking to reduce root cause analysis and mean time to resolution.
Okay, wow, so that must be a pretty huge undertaking, applying the kind of agentic piece.
It absolutely is, but I think the timing is so perfect because we're core tech infrastructure. We sit at that base layer, and so applying an agentic roadmap is actually on point and appropriate where we are in the world right now.
Joining us next at TradingTech Summit is Nabeel from Behavox. Nabeel, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. I guess first things first, tell me a little bit about Behavox and what you guys do.
So Behavox is a data insights company, and what we do is we take structured and unstructured data like communications data, transactions data, watch lists, gray lists, and then we look for financial misconduct, non-financial misconduct, but also policy lifecycle management.
Okay, amazing. So I guess as far as the clients and the markets you work within, and is it across financial services or is it broader?
Typically across financial services, so your hedge funds, your broker dealers, the likes of it, but we've also seen that with the desire to understand organizations more, we're dealing more with pharmas, with insurance organizations, and with large telcos as well.
Okay, so it's opened up quite a bit of the market.
Opened up quite a bit, yep.
Music to your ears, I'm sure.
Indeed.
Joining us next at TradingTech Summit is Richard Leader from FXswapX. Richard, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you for having me back. It's a pleasure to be on the show as always.
Of
I
course.
just wish Toby was here. Where is he?
He's hiding in the back. We'll bring him out later, maybe as a guest surprise.
He's behind there.
So I guess first things first, talk to me about FXswapX and what you guys do.
Happily. So we are doing something that's been long overdue for 30 years. We are automating a bit of the FX swaps market, specifically the interdealer market, which, would you believe, is still trading like it's 1999. 1989, I'm so sorry, I missed a decade. $3.2 trillion a day, that is the bit which is dealer to dealer, is still largely traded via voice or voice equivalents like Bloomberg, IP chat. So there's still a broker in the middle and there's still a trader at each end giving instructions. Now, that's very expensive because the industry pays a fortune in brokerage fees. It's also risky because the industry also gets fined a fortune in fines, with voice, typically voice central to nearly every case, and also compliance when off the desk. It's considered very operationally inefficient. I could go on, but for a whole catalog of reasons, it's old-fashioned. So it's worth noting that the last major innovation in the space, which is was originally called Reuters Dealing 2000, that 2008 kind of gives a sort of dated marketing clue as to when the industry last modernized. So we're helping lead the charge for a wave of modernization. Now we're not alone, because there are other firms in the market who recognize this problem. But hopefully collectively we're going to deliver something to the industry that really does bring this market into the 21st century or ideally into the 2030s.
Well, definitely a lot of room for disruption then, I imagine.
Well, actually, strangely enough, contrary to the usual startup narrative, we don't want to disrupt.
Yeah.
We're building a solution which is specifically designed to work with banks.
Okay.
We want it to be as undisruptive as possible. We want it to give them an absolute smooth ride transition, and that's crucial to what we're doing.
The next generation of market infrastructure, what do you think will define it?
It's a great question. I think the what we would call the three-legged stool between the broker, the exchange, the clearinghouse is really getting collapsed, right? We've seen a lot of acquisitions where maybe an FCM or a DCM is buying that FCM or buying a DCO, where now we have a few different players in the market that have an FCM, that have a DCM and a DCO. And this is incredible to see it because this means that the risk transfer kind of lives maybe within one system where you can get closer and closer to real-time clearing or real-time risk. And that the velocity of money at that point is just incredible, right? It's not end-of-day clearing, or it's not even multiple times a day. I mean, you can theoretically kind of get to this limit where the capital efficiency of being able to move assets either on chain or with stablecoin or with some of these neobanks also allows you to calculate this risk much faster. Allows you to extend margin with less risk. So we're really excited about what's going to happen with, as we advance more towards real-time clearing, as we advance more towards margin markets, and I think there's just a lot of opportunity for that piece of capital markets.
Tying to today's topics, what do you think will define the next generation of capital markets infrastructure?
I think the market is going certainly to 24/7, which we heard today in many talks. We are prepared with our systems in that way that we built the systems with 24/7 in mind from scratch. We're a young company. We started 5 years ago. We built our trading system, started about 2 years ago. And so for us, 24/7 is in the product from the start. It's nothing that we build afterwards, so it's a second thought. Then we're seeing a lot of trends against tokenization and prediction markets, of course, as well.
So I guess it's a lot of growth over the last 5 years. If you have such global kind of clients, it's impressive.
Yes.
Yeah, quite a bit of business.
We were lucky. We're successful from day one. We made profit from day one, so there's no external financing. Everything we made is made on our own merits.
I feel like you'll be a good person to ask this, but where do you think, or what will define the next generation of market infrastructure?
So I'm going to take a different approach.
Okay.
An honest approach to the agentic journey. Technology officers, information officers, operations officers have to ask, what is our relationship with agentic capabilities? And what is that we want to do with them? I was just on a panel and I was talking about, it's not about the human in the loop, it's the human on the loop.
Yeah.
The idea being that in the loop, you're just going faster on the hamster wheel. On the loop, you're seeing, are we going in the right direction? And so that's really where we have to ask ourselves, what do we want to do with this technology? And in doing so, how are we going to transform our industry in a meaningful way, not just making things better, but still ultimately doing the same thing?
So where's going to have the real impact versus just the hype?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Market infrastructure will be defined by a core question, which is going to be build versus buy.
Yeah.
A lot of organizations right now are experimenting with how far can we take our Codex and our Anthropic. I think they're taking for granted the data lineage, the liability, the defensibility, the explainability. So I think that's one part of what will define the next generation of market infrastructure. The second is going to be regulatory activism. Is it going to continue being passive? Or are we going to see more and more activism as, midterms, elections, so on and so forth change?
Yeah.
Right? It remains to be seen.
Has to be said, obviously, that politics is massively driving the growth in reg tech and where things will expand or be pulled back.
Yep. It turns out politicians are becoming better money managers now than most money managers themselves.
So what do you think will define the next generation of capital markets infrastructure?
Oh, that's a big and philosophical question. I think it's all going to get much faster. As in, I don't mean the speed at which the services operate is going to get much faster. I mean the innovation is going to get much faster, and it's going to get much faster. The development of new services, but crucially the adoption of new services, is going to get much faster. What's been a major bottleneck to date, and we discovered this at FXswapX, we discovered this at previous markets ventures that we've done. The speed of onboarding of banks is quite slow. Now they're steadily fixing that, which is brilliant. But the future, from where we're sat, looks much more agentic. It looks much more automated. It looks much more like it's embracing all of the other kind of qualities of the sort of new way of doing things that will, I think I have a feeling, get onto in a minute. So we've got a feeling it's just the fast forward button is going to be pressed. Okay. Just like fantastic applications, tools like Claude. And allow our engineering team to turn around a solution in the morning that would have previously taken them a whole month. Banks are embracing the same. So everything is going to just, the race of progress is just going to hit that vertical bit of the singularity curve.
What would you say firms are underestimating right now?
Yeah, I think, there was so much criticism about prediction markets, or if there was really a place for them. And I think that question has been answered in a big way, that yes, there is. I mean, people want to participate in their personal economy. So whether that is sports or rates or an event that's coming up, it's, there's so much talk about insider trading, but I don't know that there's enough talk about outsider trading. People have been shut off from markets for so long, so to give them access and the ability to trade new assets is really exciting for people that are interested in doing so. And I think that's probably something that people are underestimating, is that there will be new asset classes, new venues. So we'd like to certainly think so, that we are bringing the barriers for entry for venues down, so that people can trade more things they really care about.
So I guess you're really opening up markets.
We'd like to think so. Obviously, there's been this proliferation of exchanges. We have, I think, 20 new applicants to the CFTC for a DCM or exchange under the CFTC here in the U.S. And we'd like to, think we're a small part of that. But we really started building this sort of technology when the cloud became more readily available. A guy named Richard Sandor, who's the kind of father of financial futures. He's just a fascinating character. Worked with us on Chicago Climate Exchange, which was sold to ICE, and American Financial Exchange, which was also sold to ICE. And the reason that Richard wanted to start exchanges and build one from scratch is because you didn't have to buy a warehouse full of servers anymore. For capacity you may or may not have, but you got to be ready for it. Like, best case scenario of huge volume on your exchange. That's very expensive CapEx for any sort of startup exchange, where on the cloud you can scale your resources as you scale the liquidity on your exchange. And so that brought that barriers to entry down a lot for people that did want to create their own exchanges. And now there's a great product out there in market that does allow you to get there in a fraction of the time for a fraction of the cost, and that's us. So.
Very nice. And I guess as far as, what do you think firms are underestimating right now?
I think, first of all, modernization. A lot of systems are quite old out there, and companies are trying to just reinvent the old systems again and try to modernize them, instead of saying, okay, now we break and now we start off new. What we also hear a lot is that systems are very much adopted, or regulations were adopted to fit the first generation trading systems, and from that on the regulations are valid, and instead of when a new generation of trading systems comes, they change rule books as well, so that they fit again. And it's not so much regulations, but the exchanges own rule books that are written around the system, and then the next system needs to fit in the same rule book.
Yeah.
That's a challenge.
It's a mighty challenge, I'm sure. And I guess as far as the firms that you see out there these days, what do you think they're underestimating right now?
Talent. We have to stop looking at AI as a talent killer. No, AI is a talent enhancer. It's an accelerator. And so we are having students come into the workforce now who are growing up native AI, who understand how to create agents, how to apply them in their personal lives, and how we can make our existing workflows and our existing functions better, faster, and obviously more productive and more profitable. Those same folks are going to be the ones that are going to be driving our industry going forward.
Yeah.
And so we need to look at how we invest into them, not how we look at potentially cutting them, because we can do things in a more agentic way.
Which makes sense. As far as firms within the capital market space, within the fintech space, what do you think that they are underestimating right now?
Firms within capital market space, I think, are underestimating just the sheer scale and speed that true Gen AI and agentic AI is driving. So a lot of the conversations you have, people are still talking about how AI can be used for research summarization or note summarization or writing emails and everything else. What you're taking for granted is that it can actually be used for cross-product market surveillance. So we heard a lot today about prediction markets, but the concern is when someone's doing something on prediction markets, what are they doing on the equity side as well? And can you have a system that can do cross-product analysis? And that's where your agentic workflows can be a force multiplier. So organizations are really underappreciating the rate of change, but also the rate of quality governance that you can now get out of it as well.
I mean, I think as far as like just general summarizing of data and research, it's quite a junior way to use AI now, which is already so insane because it's so recent that was brand new to us.
Yeah, and for us as Behavox over the last year, we've been asked by clients, right, give us more in terms of prediction markets, give us more in terms of the cross-product analysis, give us more in terms of actually enriching our trade surveillance understandings and then linking trade and comms. And none of that would be possible if you didn't have the right foundations, the right install base, and then the right approvals for AI and AI governance.
Okay. And what do you think firms are underestimating right now?
I think they're underestimating the need to really be thorough and diligent and precise in what instructions they give these new tools. So I referenced Mr. Claude, who's phenomenally useful. Don't know how we could do without him. I think they're underestimating the quality of input that they need to give it. So their people need to be really good at being really precise with their use of tokens. Garbage in, garbage out, as the age-old term goes. And I think also they're underestimating a very different underestimation, but they're also underestimating the amount of money that they're going to spend on these tools. I think the likes of Anthropic, bless them, who are doing a fantastic job, I think very soon they're going to figure out that they have tremendous monopolistic power over banks. We'll see what the SEC, we'll see what the Department of Trade has to say about that. But I've got a feeling these big firms are going to find that they're burning through billions of tokens. And the cost of these tokens, I don't think is necessarily going to go down, because I think the models the frontier models are innovating at such a pace that I think they're going to retain their advantage. And I think the switching costs between models will become significant as well. So I think firms are going to have to dedicate much more budget to token spend.
Skills, capabilities, or mindsets. What would you say is going to be the most valuable in capital markets over the next 5 years?
Yeah, I think people that are dreaming big. There's such a great opportunity right now. So people that are flexible or that are seeing the way that the world's moving and are willing to kind of change their opinions as the facts change, I think is really important. There's a new headline every single day with prediction markets or perpetual futures or tokenized assets or crypto that. It's just a matter of time before somebody finds a new way to trade something or a new asset to trade. And I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities, and it's now easier than ever to create a venue to realize those dreams.
Amazing. Well, listen, that sounds super exciting, and thank you for the time. Skills, capabilities, or mindsets. What do you think will be the most valuable over the next 5 years?
Oh, that's
For someone joining your team, let's say.
I think our team is, we build our team on very seasoned professionals, people that have been doing this for like 20 plus years, and also a lot of young professionals coming directly from the universities. So we're trying to attract them. We're having a separate office in the north of Sweden, in Umeå. There we work very close with the university to adopt the education that they get, so that they can immediately be parts of our team. So I think we're trying to attract young talent as well as the
industry experts.
Been doing this forever.
Okay, makes sense. And I guess being that you have seen so much growth over the 5 years, what's the next plan? What are you looking to break into, or what's the kind of growth plan from here?
I think what we're looking to, we have our base products like trading, clearing, and CSD, and there's still a lot to do there. So we're trying to sell those and roll those out to the market, and then we're also looking into what parts of those systems can be broken out and maybe offered as a service to the market.
Amazing.
For smaller workflows.
So almost modularized to break into the kind of open up the market.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, well listen, thank you so much for joining in.
Thank you.
Super helpful and great to meet you. Just to wrap up, talk to me about what kind of skills, capabilities, or mindsets you think will bring the most value to capital markets over the next 5 years.
I think there's two ends of the spectrum. So people who've had their stripes and have been in industry for a long time, my bet, and this will be music to their ears, is they will command a premium, because AI is very good at generating net new things or analyses, but you need people with that institutional and tribal knowledge who've been around for a long time, who understand the regulations, understand how to present to the regulator, and understand their organization.
Yeah.
So for them, it's about becoming AI literate to expand their coverage and their skill set. For the younger people, it's about actually understanding the strength and depth of relationships, because you don't need to have so many different silos to achieve the same business objective. So I think that's what the youth should be caring about, which is relationships in the real world.
Yeah.
As interesting as that is to say in an AI world, robots don't have kidneys just yet.
100%, and I think that'll be the differentiator as AI continues to grow and all of that.
Absolutely.
The face-to-face time, it's where it's not going to be able to take over.
Yeah, you'd be very disturbed doing this with a robot. So
It wouldn't be very
it's the same
interesting.
thing. Yep.
Okay, well, listen, I think that's loads. Thank you so much for the time. What do you think capital markets firms will value the most over the next 5 years?
Well, that's a really good one, and I've got a nice short answer to that. People are going to need, and it's the same answer, by the way, same advice I could give my daughter. Be much better at giving instructions. I don't mean instructions to me. No, I give instructions to her. But I mean become an instruction giver.
Yeah.
And I'm meeting more and more people in the capital markets, including entrepreneurs who are in charge of far larger companies than me. We're all basically saying the same thing. Our role as humans has evolved from one of keying data in keyboards to one of controlling mini armies of agents that go and do our bidding. We need to get much better, not just at writing prompts, but writing loops that can reinforce our instructions. So we're all going to have to effectively become sort of loop engineers, so to speak. That's how we're going to be doing work in the future.
I completely agree. I think it's only going to get bigger and bigger in that sense, and that learning how to do it well is going to be a massive skill set that people will have to develop.
I 100% agree, because I consider language models to be a bit like a nice DeWalt power hammer drill, which I can use in my New York apartment to either do a bunch of work much faster than I would do with a normal sort of screwdriver, or I can make a complete mess of things much faster and more efficiently, and annoy my neighbour next door. But yeah, I've got a feeling everything is going to get much faster. We're going to be much more operating in the realm of instruction givers, and firms are going to be spending massive amounts on compute in the future.
Okay, well listen, thank you so much for the time. I think that was very valuable.
It's always a pleasure to be on your show. Thank you very much for being invited back.
Thanks so much for joining.